Look, have mercy on me.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of On the Bluff. I'm your host, Christian Fowler. My co-host, Gabe Kuhn.
Yes, sir.
What's up, brother?
I'm doing well. Do you notice anything different about me this week?
No glasses.
Yep.
I noticed it.
You want to know why?
You
lost them.
You lost.
So I've been I had those. It was a good run. It was a good run. Didn't lose them for like 2.5 years, but it's time to get some new prescriptions. So
Are you a contacts guy without them?
I have some contacts, some disposable ones. I hate them though.
So
I can't get them in my eyes.
blind.
Yeah, I'm flying blind right now. Yep. My astigmatism is in full swing.
So when you drive home from here tonight, watch out.
Yeah, stay away from the if you see a white Jeep Grand Cherokee, steer clear.
Yeah.
Yes. Although I've been solid, I haven't had a ticket in a long while.
Me too.
But I got some new glasses today. Well, prescriptions, and they'll come in hopefully 7 to 10 days. So I'll be glassed up here soon.
Where do you think you lost them at? You have no idea.
I know exactly where I lost them at. I was at a birthday party for one of Taylor's friends on Friday, and they somehow disappeared. Like they must have fell into somebody's bag. It was a little pool party, so it must have fell into somebody's bag. Pool was colder than
it's bad.
cold.
It's not.
It was ridiculous. It's not swimming weather
Yeah,
anymore.
it is
We're
not
into
time
fall.
for
It's
pool
like
parties.
fall. It's fall.
Yeah.
It's fall.
No pool anymore. Pool was done.
What'd you do this weekend? Kicked it?
Yeah, I think so. Friday, I think just went out to eat, hung out. Well, we had a game night Friday night.
Ooh.
Played a game called Chameleon. Never heard of
What's
it
that?
before. Okay, so there's a card, and it's like a category card, and it's got, I think, like 12 different objects or things that fall under that category. So, for example, if the card says transportation, then there's 12 different variances of transportation on there.
Yeah.
Feel that? Okay, so then everyone that's playing gets a separate card, and it has the number, it has like the dice number at the top,
Okay.
because you roll 2 dice.
Right.
You roll a actual die with 1 through 6 on it, like a standard dice. And then there's another one that has 1 through 8 numbers on it. And you roll both of those dice, and you look at your card, and the whatever is rolled on the dice tells you which one is the which so say car, say it was like 4-7. It was what was rolled. And you look and you go down and it's like, okay, and then you look at match it up on the card. Let's say it's car is the mode of transportation. There's one person that does not have the code that you have. They are the chameleon.
Okay.
So then you go around the room and you say one word to describe
That mode of transportation in that example.
Correct.
Sounds
so like for
boring.
one we had hovercraft. So you have to try not to be too vague or too detailed, because you want to try to figure out who the chameleon is, because at the end of the round everybody votes on who it is.
Okay.
It's based off of the word you say.
Sounds slightly boring. I'm not going to lie to you.
It was not boring. Like the way it literally, we went one round and it was a full on like 4v4 screaming match. Like,
All right.
it gets intense.
Okay,
with
I
us.
got you.
So
Well,
Yeah.
I'm wrong then.
that was fun. It was good time.
Cool.
Saturday.
Nice.
Planted it on the couch for like 10 hours watching football.
All right, I have my wedding in 2 weeks, and I have a wedding that I'm part of next weekend. So
Like this
I get
upcoming
to
weekend?
like these 2 weeks of great football before we get into the heart of conference schedules. I am going to miss a lot of them. It's depressing. It's depressing.
Guess what? My friend is getting married on Saturday. You are getting married the following Saturday. So I am in the same boat. We are both screwed with.
But I'm part of both of these. You're part of the one this weekend, though. Like
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm groomsman than my wedding, so
Yeah.
I'm going to be taken up even more. So you're not in the same boat. Not quite.
Not
the
quite,
same
not
boat.
quite, because he's not doing groomsman. He just has his best
Right.
man. His brother's his best man. No groomsman, like really small. It's a small wedding.
Okay.
Like less than 100, I think. So
Okay.
So we don't have to be there for all the festivities. But still, I mean, everyone's been saying week 4 is like the best week of college football.
It is. It is.
And
We have 6 ranked on ranked matchups.
Right.
The Ohio State Notre Dame game I'm curious about. That'll be
is
fun.
Oregon, Colorado this weekend as well?
Oregon, Colorado.
Yeah.
No Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
What'd you
So-
think of that hit, by the way? Before we get into anything, what'd you think about that hit that safety for Colorado State gave to Travis Hunter?
He was trying to set the tone.
That was bullshit.
He was trying to set the tone.
They just threw a unsportsmanlike flag. he needs to be suspended. I'm sorry. Like we see targeting every week, including the one on like Jaden Daniels where the dude got ejected. We see guys get ejected for way less. He didn't even get ejected. Got to stay in the game. He stood over Travis Hunter, and they're supposed like Skip Bayless called it a liver laceration.
Yeah,
like that was. He wasn't going for the ball.
Hey,
it was to send a message and to
he got his it was
get back. But it was ill intent.
He got his get back though. He got broke on the go ahead touchdown.
I know, but that was straight ill intent. I hate that, man.
Yeah,
that's brutal.
Can I say something about that?
Go for it.
It came out today that Colorado or Buffalo, Boulder, whatever police are investigating death threats against that player.
Because they released him and his mom's like address and number, which I'm not here to.
Oh, who did that?
Not condoning. No, I don't know who did it. I think it was like an online blog for Colorado, but it got released and he's been getting a lot of that. I don't condone that by any stretch of imagination. I'm just talking about the play itself. That was complete garbage.
I think it's everything bad that happens now because of social media. You're always going to get some dumbass who's going to write, "I'm going to kill you, bro."
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, are those really death threats, or is he really like everybody gets death threats for everything now? And
you got to take it all serious, man. You got to take it all pretty serious.
You can't mess around with that.
Yeah.
I feel you, but is it like some 10-year-old kid
probably
in his basement?
Yeah.
Most of them.
I'm going to kill you, bro.
There's been people that have been killed over football before. It's not unprecedented for sure.
Yeah.
I don't mean to downplay it, but I'm just kind of like, everybody gets everybody that's involved in something negative on the internet that goes crazy on the internet. All of a sudden, 2 days later, I'm getting death threats.
Yeah, I got it. Have you ever gotten death threats?
No.
I got a semi-death threat one time. Cotton Bowl 2019.
Over what?
I have no idea. You remember that, Kenny? I was sending.
Kenny's got burners, so maybe it was.
It was me.
Been.
But this dude was DMing me some
vile,
horrific stuff. I wish I still had it, but I deleted it because it freaked me out. I blocked him, deleted it, all that. But middle of the game.
What could you have possibly
I don't remember
said?
that at all, Christian.
You don't remember that?
I'm sorry, yeah.
I mean, what could you have possibly said that would move somebody during the Cotton Bowl to do that?
I will say during the Cotton Bowl, and this is well documented, I've talked about this multiple times, I was enamored by Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
And so,
Should be.
Possibly 70% of my tweets revolved around Micah Parsons and how good he was.
He wrecked the game.
And,
he wrecked the game that day for the Tigers.
This Memphis fan was not cool about it. And it wasn't after the game. It was during the game. Like I remember being
that's
in
one
the press
part
box.
of fandom that really does bother me is like you can talk about good players on the other team. When we talk about Mizzou and Memphis here in just a second, we'll talk about Luther Burden. Yeah, right. Like it doesn't mean that we want to see him do well against the Tigers. We just know he likely will do well against the Tigers.
Right.
And he's a problem that you have to deal with, just like Micah Parsons was.
I mean, that Micah Parsons Cotton Bowl game was like legitimately the most dominating performance I've ever seen in college football. So,
I mean, there are many people that say that that's the best defensive performance in college football history. And for me, for my money, definitely is. But yeah, that was pretty wild. I don't know if it was actually death threats, but he was certainly threatening.
He was mad
to take action upon me physically.
Okay.
And he called me a lot of choice words.
Typed a lot of choice words because it's always the clown. Like he
Warriors.
probably didn't even have like a real name up there. It was probably a burner account or something.
Yeah, did not have an actual picture. Or anything
you know how
like that.
damn soft that is. That's soft as shit.
There you go.
Soft as hell.
That's good. All right, well, you hinted towards Memphis, Missouri, and we'll get there in a moment. But let's talk Memphis Navy first. Thursday night, we're not going to spend too much time on this because we are kind of far removed at this point, and the Missouri game is going to be a little bit more point of emphasis. But what did you think overall? Like I said, Thursday night game, Memphis was a relatively heavy favorite. They did not cover. They won by 4.
They didn't. And I predicted them to cover, so I feel wrong for even suggesting that.
It wasn't a pretty game.
By the end of that game, I mean that game was on acid. Like, let's be real. We had a Navy fumble, or no. First, it was Blake Watson breaks a 70-yarder. They get down there on the goal line. He fumbles on the goal line. Navy gets it back, 28-24. They go down. They have a fumble. Tigers hop on it. Then Tigers decide to run the ball twice, even though I always think at the end of games when you're trying to ice it and get a first down, first and second down, get to a play action and see what you like. Find a tight end in the flat.
Like, to me, that's what it is. It's first down, you run the ball just so you know the clock's moving.
But
second
you know
down,
they're just sitting on a run waiting to stuff
100%. Second down, when they think it's coming again, give them the same action. And
play
boot it.
action.
Yeah.
I don't get why coaches don't do that. But then third down, you had Seth Henigan throw one of the worst interceptions of his career. That was awful.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful. I don't think he's been all that great this year, but we'll get to that in a second. But then they get the ball back, come down. We have the Navy. They give them the respect the troop spot there at the end that 100%. Had to get reviewed, and I'm like, that's at least 3/4 of a yard short.
Yeah, it was.
How
bad.
Hell are you even? Then they bring out the sticks. Everybody's confused. Ryan actually got riled up.
He did.
It was cool to see him come off the sideline, get after their ass a little bit. But then they finally end the game that way. I thought ultimately offense not good. Too many mistakes. They have these lulls. Their opening scripts have been good in every single game.
Yes.
They went down 13 plays, 90 yards after getting a stop, go up 7-0, and then they just sort of punted the rest of the way through the first half. Defense, first half couldn't tackle. Second half, they stepped up. I don't think that anybody who's trying to draw any conclusions about that game in this defense, I don't think they're correct in doing that.
Yeah, I'm with
because
you.
It's Navy. Like, throw that stuff. I said that before.
Yeah.
The game. Like,
Doesn't
throw
matter.
it out. Like, it's different look. They threw the ball a lot more than normal. They were confused by some of the looks they were throwing at them. So there's that. But I thought the second half they woke up. First half, it's very understood why they couldn't tackle. They didn't. It was a short week, and they didn't put them in pads, and they weren't tackling people to the ground.
Right.
You're going to have those issues against Navy when you do not do that during practice. But I think all in all, I think it's very true that they should have beat that team by more. Navy's not very good. I do also think if you want to draw any positive from it, you can talk about
Blake
well, I'll get to him in a second. One, Blake Watson, but two, they were 0-4 in one-score games last year. That was the type of game. That was a feeling. I got it in the pit of my stomach as soon as the pick was thrown. Navy starts driving in. They're converting.
It's like, here we go.
I go, oh, shit, they're going to score. They're going to win this game.
Yeah.
They didn't. Tigers are 1-0 in one-score games this year, which I guess is an improvement of some sort.
Yeah.
No matter how bad the competition is, I guess.
Everybody on the sideline felt the same way, Gabe.
Yeah.
I was down there on the side. I got there a little bit
Here
late.
the hell we go again. It's going.
Everybody's look on their face was just wide-eyed, like, holy shit. Like, we're about to do this again. Yeah, that's exactly – everybody was feeling that.
That's the only level of, like, if you want to take positivity there. But Blake Watson is a dude. He's a dude.
Yeah, I'm going to give the same sentiment I've given for the Navy game over the last 5 years. Dump it. You won the game, dump it. Like it
You're
is.
3-0.
Yeah, and I did say a couple weeks ago that I wanted to see them boat race these first three teams.
Yep.
2 out of 3, not bad. I would have liked to see them play cleaner in this game. Once again, you're talking about the lulls, and they just can't string things together, especially offensively, which we would like to see that. We would like to see more consistency offensively. But you got out of it. You beat a team that you're not going to see anything else like this schematically for the rest of the year. It's the same thing with Navy every season. So take the win, get out of there, and move on. And that's how we say. That's what the media says about Navy every single year, and it's just the case with them.
What's frustrating though is like, I know I did say going into the season, okay, 3 games, you're not going to learn much. I sort of changed my tune. I was like, Arkansas State, FBS, maybe you'll learn something about this team against Navy. You try to draw conclusions and understand who a team is, even in games like that. I still can't really get a full feel of where this team's at because defensively, they haven't really gotten to go against a team like they're going to play in Mizzou. Offensively, they are having the same issues. Outside of the 2 69-yard runs by Blake Watson, there wasn't a consistent run game, and that was a big issue because I see a lot of people say, oh, well, push the ball downfield against Navy. Push the ball downfield. We need to see more big chunk plays in the pass game. Navy runs 2 or 3 high safeties every single play, and they'll time up blitzes, and sometimes they'll go to cover 1, cover 0. And cover 0 means you have no high safeties, cover 1 high safety. But they do that, and then they play their corners and their DBs 7 to 10 yards off the receivers every play. So, like, trying to just push it downfield for the sake of pushing it downfield does not work against a team like Navy.
Right.
You have to run the ball. You have to take what they give you. But if you run the ball, get chunk plays in the run game, you can beat them handily, and I didn't see the Tigers do that consistently, especially in the first half.
Yeah, I agree with you. So let's move on and talk about this Missouri game because – like I said, I'm 100% with you in agreement that we really don't know who this team is right now. We have no idea. They're about to take a massive step up in competition, and that's not me giving flowers to Missouri because I genuinely don't think Missouri is that great. But I think the 3 teams that Memphis has played thus far,
they're not good.
They're not good at all. And I know Missouri knocked off K-State this weekend at home.
Thicker kicker.
Yeah.
He nailed
Harrison Mevis. But I just still do not think Missouri is that good. I'm sorry. Their defense.
They have good pieces.
Their defense is solid. You know how I feel about Brady Cook.
He cooked. Speaking, I mean, no pun intended. He cooked against Kansas State.
Don't care.
Okay.
Still don't think he's very good. Never have since he's.
And he was a little hobbled throughout that game too.
Yeah. I think offensively they are very reliant on Luther Burden. So I'm very interesting to see what Matt Barnes does as far as scheming around him because he's good. Because is it this? How do they play it? Do they try to take Luther Burden away? Good freaking luck. Or did they say we're going to let him get his and he's going to be the only one that touches us? Because we've seen that before.
Yeah, but his run after the catch ability, his deep play ability, his big play threat ability, like I don't want you to just sort of say, well, if he's going to cook us in man coverage, let's let him cook us. Yeah. I think you need to try to bracket him. You need to try to confuse Brady Cook's eyes. I think the secondary is good. I don't think there's anybody good enough to deal with Luther Burden in a one-on-one situation. Great. That's the truth of it. But try to bracket him. Try to find ways to take him out of the game. I think that's your best bet. But you're not going to take him all the way out. That's the truth.
To me, 2 keys. This is how Memphis wins this game. On defense, get pressure.
Yep.
Like I said, I don't think Brady Cook is that good. I think if you get in his face, if you make him uncomfortable, if you rattle him, he has shown that he will make mistakes.
Yep.
Get pressure. I don't care.
I think they're more equipped than they've been in the past to get pressure too.
100% they are. So get pressure, get exotic, which I think we could see this week. When you go in this type of environment, we've seen Memphis do it against Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Like, they tend to really let it all hang out against these SEC opponents. So I expect that again. I don't expect Matt Barnes to play conservatively as a play caller because he knows what they have in Luther Burden. And if you give him time to beat you downfield, he will. So defensively, heat up Brady Cook. Offensively, you probably think I'm going to say run the ball. Seth Henigan's the key.
Yeah, he's got to. He can't make mistakes.
Can't make mistakes. He can't.
Don't give them extra possessions.
No, cannot have a multiple turnover. You can probably survive an interception or a fumble because it's football. It's going to happen more than likely. But if he's 2-3 turnovers, then I just don't see a way of Memphis winning this game. So he's got to be on his A game. He's got to be crisp. He's got to be good going through his progressions and getting to his reads. Obviously, a semblance of the run game needs to be there.
Need to take pressure off of him too.
Yes, but if they aren't able to run the ball effectively, which if I'm a betting man, I would say they probably are not going to be able to run the ball effectively against this defensive front. He's going to have to be really good for them to win this game.
I think when you talk about getting guys involved, get Sutton Smith and Blake Watson involved as much as possible on the offensive end. Screens, if you need to try to run the ball, get them in space. Try to get them in space. They're your big play guys. Yeah. Let them be big play guys. Obviously, draw up a couple shots, see what you can do. Like Joe Skates can take the top off the defense. His hands are a little shaky at times, but you need to try to hit some timely plays offensively. Because the one problem with this offense with the lack of run game is that, like, staying on schedule has been the biggest issue for them the past 3 years.
Yep.
Just stay on schedule a little bit better.
Yeah. Allowing defenses to kind of pin it back,
find ways. But yeah, I think pressure on the quarterback. And I think if you're thinking in the abstract here, use the extra preparation to your advantage. Mm-hmm. Use that extra prep. You're done on Thursday. It seemed like they avoided, for the most part, a bunch of crazy injuries. Get people healthy. Get whatever you need to get installed. Get everybody prepped and ready to go this week. Use those extra days to your advantage because you're going to need them.
Yeah, if you're looking at it from completely zoomed out, objective point of view, like it lines up for Memphis to have a really good shot in this game. They have a long week, played on Thursday against Navy, so you got a week and a half to prepare, or 9 days to prepare. Missouri's coming off of an extremely emotional win over K-State.
And it could be pretty sleepy in the Dome come Saturday.
Yeah, and before I get there, it is disgusting to watch a team rush the field after beating a number 15 team, a 15 ranked team in the country.
Rivalry one, and also,
bro, that's gross.
I get it. I agree wholeheartedly. But on that point, like, Eli Drinkwitz needed that win. That program needed that win.
I get
badly.
that, but come on.
Yeah.
If you beat if they would have beat
you would say act like you've been there before,
but they haven't.
But
I
they
get
haven't
that.
lately.
But at least let it be like a good team. Like
when they played
good.
Oklahoma in 07 or 08 and they beat them at home. Yeah, sure,
Right.
rush the field.
Yeah,
one, no.
You beat a top 10, top 15 team that's been impressive. But K-State, come on, no one should have rushed the field over K-State.
I get it. I understand.
Especially at
I'm
an
with
SEC
you.
school. That's pretty trash.
I'm with you.
But yeah, I think it all lines.
But
up well.
Colorado rushed the field against Nebraska last weekend. So, I mean, we've seen some bad field rushes already this year.
Yeah.
They rushed against Colorado State too.
They're just fired up.
They rushed the field against Colorado State, bro.
That team won one game last year, so they've already tripled the win
They
total.
got a bunch of loopy folks in those stands smoking that devil's lettuce. That's what's going on there in Boulder, baby.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But I really do. I think it lines up well for Memphis. If they go out, they play their game, they execute. It's all the factors of an upset.
Yeah.
Let's say that. But
I've heard some people I respect that I've talked to about the game that follow Memphis football are doing the whole, they have no chance. They're going to lose by 3 scores. People can call me Homer. People can say that I'm being ridiculous and being way too hopeful. But I look at that line in the dome, potentially sleepy, a little bit extra, a couple extra days to prep. Tigers can let it all hang out. It feels like you have nothing to really lose. They're probably, there should be some peeved people. I would be mad that it's not a home game. So that would make me mad. That would make me want to take it out on Mizzou. But I see that 7-point line. I think that's about right. I'm not going to rule out the Tigers winning this game. That's not what I would predict. But I think if they lose, it's not going to be some 3-score ridiculous blowout like it was last time they played in Columbia, where it's 63-35. It's not going to be anything like that.
And unless they're just turnover machines.
Yeah.
Unless Memphis just turns the ball over 3 or 4 times, I just don't see that happening. Once again, I'm not high on Missouri. Very open about that. Not a big Eli Drinkwitz fan, not a big Brady Cook fan. So I just don't think they're that good. I get the discrepancy in SEC talent and American Athletic Conference talent, but still,
and I don't think Mizzou is super well equipped to gash the Tigers defense running the ball, so they're probably going to have to stick to throwing the ball because Cody Schrader, man, as a running back,
they're not a dynamic offensive
Nathaniel
team anyway.
Pete's not that guy. No. I think that you have Luther Burden. That's who that's who Mizzou circles every week. Let's get him involved early and often. Tigers need to realize that and act accordingly.
Yeah. All right, Gabe. Anything else before we move on? You got all your words out? You ready to?
Yeah, I think are we ready?
I think so.
Ready to hop into?
I think so.
I
think we are.
Him?
This guy?
That guy?
This guy back here? Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
I don't even know if I want to tee him up this week.
Why?
I don't know. Sometimes you just gotta.
It's
let
better
it
better to not tee him up because then he gets hyped up.
Yeah. Then he comes in a little bit too hot.
A little too hot.
So we will.
But it is called the
Hot 3.
Yeah.
So we will mellowly roll into the Hot 3. We'll see what Kenny's got on the other side.
Yeah, because Zach Randolph went into the Blazers organization that had some characters. Underline the word characters,
right.
Okay? He's coming from Michigan State. He's from Marion, Indiana. And then you go to Portland, Oregon, which it's an entirely different culture, entirely different demographic. He had people around him who were guys from Marion. Hey, you owe us. Anthony, one of the key memories of my time here in Memphis, off the court, I did a Read to Achieve event with Zach Randolph. And the kid who read the most books, his prize was to get to interview Zach Randolph. And the young man, first question to Zach is, what's the hardest thing for a black athlete to learn? And Zach did not give him any, BS fluff answer. He said, a lot of times the people who say they're your friends, they're not your friends. And you have to pick the people around you very, very wisely.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. Bluff City Media and Bluff City NIL are proud partners of Coaching for Literacy, a Memphis nonprofit using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. When you donate to Bluff City NIL through Coaching for Literacy, your gift is 100% tax deductible. This partnership is a win-win-win. Tiger student athletes win in the NIL landscape. Coaching for Literacy wins by engaging Tiger student athletes in this monumental cause. And most importantly, elementary students in Memphis receive support to become strong readers. To donate today, visit coachingforliteracy.org/bluff-city.
And I wonder if Silverfield's time in the NFL is the reason for this, but it feels like a much more NFL style 100%. To do that, as opposed to what you see a lot in college is just keep doing your thing, keep putting up points.
I think style points really only matter if your job is on the line or you are playing a ranked opponent. I think that's really the only
Or
time.
You're at a place like Memphis where you have, like, you don't have a huge core fan base. That may not be the case at all college football programs.
Yeah.
But definitely in Memphis where you have, a core of 25,000-ish fans that are fans, and then you've got to bring in 10, 15 casual that are, their number one team is somewhere else. But if you're exciting and fun, they're going to come to a Thursday night game against Navy when their team's not playing.
But I think you also get that if you just win.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Discover a world of possibilities at Streetcars of Memphis. Revamp your ride with the ultimate auto transformation. From booming audio systems to eye-catching wheels, powerful lift kits to sleek drop kits, cutting-edge LED lights and light bars, we've got it all. Unleash your style with confidence. Feel the next level of auto care at Streetcars of Memphis. Your dream ride is just a visit away. Visit us online at www.901scm.com and let the transformation begin.
Usually I'm more prepared, but y'all didn't transition to me at all today.
Oh,
That messed you up.
low energy, huh?
So I'm just kind of confused as to what's going on right now. But it's the Hot 3.
Well, that's right. Let's make her
Sponsored by Streetcars of Memphis. If you want anything done to your car, whether it be just normal wear and tear, oil changes, tires, whatever it may be, you can get it done there. But if you want to be like Gabe and pimp your ride, you can do it there too. Streetcars of Memphis sponsors is Streetcars of Memphis is presenting the Hot 3.
Yes.
I got tongue tied.
Yeah, it's my fault. It's my fault.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
threw me off.
I
Hype
know
him up.
I didn't hype you up enough.
You threw
I'm
me
sorry.
off.
Now
You
I
guys
know-
ready?
Now, yeah.
Of course we are.
Now I know I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I need to get hyped up.
Sorry.
All right, here you go. Let's go. Topic number 1: college football. Y'all have said it, and I think everybody in their right mind that understands college football has said it. The SEC is the best college football conference in the country. Mm-hmm. They haven't been very good this year.
Sure haven't.
Not at all.
I know we got a couple of teams. We can talk about a lot of the teams, but specifically, I want to mention two. This past weekend, the Vols had a really rough game against Florida in the Swamp, and then also Bama played against USF and struggled.
Yeah.
Struggle in 17-3. That was so bad.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about. We can go broader conversation about the SEC and where it stands right now, but let's dive a little bit deep onto the Vols and Bama, their struggles. What's going on?
Vols, I mean, listen, I didn't think they were going to be better than they were last year.
No.
But I did have high hopes for what they could be in the SEC, second in the East, that type of thing. But losing to Florida the way they did, just coming out flat, that's just it didn't look right. And they have to get a run game going. That O-line has to step up because defensively I think they're better than they have been. But that was just a horrible loss.
Yeah.
Horrible loss.
Yeah, like you said, I think they just came out flat. Like, they're clearly they're a talented team.
Yeah.
Like, Josh Heupel and the staff have done a good job of building it, but they were not ready. Florida was clearly more prepared. They were clearly more ready. They were clearly more hyped up. Tennessee struggled tackling Tennessee struggled. I think they had 6 pre-snap penalties in the game.
Yep. They had 5 false starts.
Yeah, for a veteran laden offensive line. I know they're without Cooper Mays, all SEC center, but they still are so veteran laden up front, and they fell apart.
They missed Darnell. I'll say that.
Oh,
too,
of course.
Of course. But there's 2 things you need for a Josh Heupel offense to be working at peak efficiency. That's a solid run game, which they didn't have in that game at all. You gotta get those guys more involved, Jalen Wright and Jabari Small. Now, the other thing you need is to be able to work on tempo and to have a little bit of rhythm to your offense. And all those pre-snap penalties threw them off. They squandered away opportunities because of those pre-snap penalties. Right. So I just don't know if they're not there yet.
Yeah, they're not
where they should be. And let me ask you, Joe Milton. I think he's fine. I think he's gotten better. He can take the smaller plays. He doesn't have to take the top off the defense every time, which is a noticeable improvement. But he's just not Hendon Hooker.
No,
when it comes to spreading the ball around and the intermediate and the short and he like the it factor, if you will, it's just not quite there.
Yeah, and I think that's the big difference between Hendon and Joe. Like Hendon just had it in those moments. Like Alabama last year was clearly the perfect example. We just continue to step up every time, and we just haven't seen that from Joe Milton yet. And he's pretty long in the tooth in his career. Like he's been he's a fifth year guy. So he's been around the block, and he still just doesn't have that. Like if the team needs a play, he can go make it at any moment. Now the arm talent is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, even in that game, the throw to Brew McCoy,
of course,
was just a money shot.
He's always had good. I mean,
oh yeah,
it's never been a question.
But yeah, I just don't see it with him as far as being like an elite level quarterback. Like you said, he's serviceable. He's cleaned some things up. His touch is a little bit better. His accuracy is a little bit better. But still, like in those big moments, it just doesn't. It looks like the moment is too big for him currently. Mm-hmm. And yes, he's a 5th-year senior, but he's played a very limited amount of football. I think he started 6 games at Michigan, and he started, I think this was his 5th start at Tennessee. So in his 5-year career, he started 11 collegiate games.
If it trends down, you throw Nico in there, or do you just wait?
I think it depends on how bad it goes and how confident that they feel in Nico.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it could happen, but I think it would have to go very south.
Yeah.
Like, I think he would have to have a terrible performance against, like, a Missouri or South Carolina for it to get there.
As much as I'm not a huge fan of Joe Milton, Bama would love to have him right now.
Hey, before y'all move to Bama, I want to ask you, what are y'all's thoughts about the Josh Heupel end of the game timeout?
Oh, that was stupid. That was so dumb. That team was ready to go fight, and then Josh Heupel wants to take timeouts, and he was feeding into it. And then now you have, 4 suspensions, 3 from Florida, 1 from Tennessee. Yeah. That was foolish. I'm glad you brought that up, Kenny, because that pissed me off at the end of that game. You have guys squaring up. Why are you calling a timeout? Game's over. Let's get the hell out of here. Yeah. We know there's a back-and-forth rivalry aspect to that game. Hell no. Yeah. I was mad at Josh Heupel for him letting that go on.
Yeah, agreed. But speaking on Bama, they switched from Jalen Milroe to Tyler Buckner going into the South Florida game in Tampa, and it was way worse than Jalen Milroe.
It was way worse than I thought even Tyler Buckner was going to play. I mean, the amount of SEC homers and Bama fans that wanted to do the Tyler Buckner's a 4-star recruit that got recruited by everywhere around the country, Elite 11 finalist, blah, 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 blah. Before that game, he was 6 TDs to 8 INTs in his entire career, 3-year career at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Why were we acting like he was going to be something he's not? Yeah. He's not movable in the pocket, and that O-line's not very good. And he doesn't have good arm talent. Like I'm kind of wondering what Nick Saban was doing with that. Like, did Nick Saban get convinced by Tommy Rees, who Tommy Rees and Tyler Buckner are close because that's who recruited him at Notre Dame? Was that Tommy Rees who seems kind of in over his head, like convincing Nick Saban to throw his guy out there to see what happens against South Florida?
Yeah, I don't know. But it was so bad, they turned to freshman quarterback Ty Simpson.
And Ty's not terrible, but he's not good.
No.
But, I don't get it. because the quarterback development is clearly down there. Yeah, Ty Simpson was a four-star, borderline 5-star.
Yeah, right on the
Eli
edge.
Holstein, 4-star, borderline 5-star. Jalen Milroe was a decent recruit. Like, what is there something missing? Like, and I know you're coming off Bryce Young, so you could get a little spoiled, but I don't think any of those guys are any good.
Right.
And Jalen Milroe is not a good quarterback. I put it this way: he almost plays like a high school quarterback that's just better than everybody,
right.
Where he'll run the ball, create something out of nothing, and he'll throw deep shots. Intermediate and in short passes, he's miserable. He doesn't read defenses very well, and maybe he could improve on it. I'm not going to completely throw that out of the question, but it's very clear he is by far the best they have. And that's
agreed.
why Nick Saban has already said, yeah, we're going to start him this week. I like how he responded when he wasn't on the field. He was picking up his teammates, but it was just a weird experiment gone wrong. Now, granted, if you're going to run an experiment, you want to win a game, but 17-3 to South Florida has those Bama fans ready to jump off a ledge. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm with you, though. I think Jalen Milroe is not very good, but I think he gives them their best chance to win because clearly they don't have any great passers. So at least he has the dynamic of being able to run the ball and make plays with his legs.
He's got a decent deep ball, but he just throws it into quadruple coverage.
Yes, yeah, I agree. No, he has a good arm, but I'm just saying from a quarterback talent arm perspective, they have a lack of that.
Yes.
So go to the guy that can at least make plays with his legs.
Yes, and also you need a guy who can make plays with his legs because that O-line's not very good right now.
Yeah,
they gave up 5 sacks on Ty
crazy.
Simpson. Well, Caden Proctor looks a little raw.
True freshman.
He's a true freshman at left tackle. J.C. Latham we know is good. They have talent all the way across the board. But here's my question. Are they, because the big conversation coming into the year, though, they have 3 guys that are over 350. Are they too big?
I think they are.
Because pass protection looks like garbage right now.
Yeah,
they give up short edges. They're slow off the ball.
Yeah, I think they're too big.
barreling.
They're too big. If this was,
it made sense though, like because you thought Tommy Rees comes in, you're going to run the ball more, but they've thrown the ball a hell of a lot.
They haven't. Because once again, they just don't have elite running backs either. I'm with you. I think if this offensive line was 2003.
Sure.
We could be talking about them as the best unit in college football. If they were just running power and play actions, we'd be like, this line is unstoppable.
Yeah.
That's not what they're doing.
They're they're just a little too big in my opinion.
Continuing to go around the SEC, we'll talk about this because I want to get your thoughts on this, and then we'll move on to some NFL talk. I don't think Georgia's that good.
Yeah.
I genuinely
South Carolina, they beat the hell out of last year at South Carolina and then come back and we're down 14 to 3.5. Not good.
I think we're seeing the effects, and I'm not saying they don't have talent. I think they just have a lot of unproven talent. I think we're seeing the effects of 2 very, very good football teams that have had a ton of draft picks. Because if you look around this defense, and I think the defense is still very good, but now instead of being front 7 dominant, they're back end dominant, and that's not where Georgia makes their money. They don't have a Jalen Carter or a Jordan Davis or a Nolan Smith. Smael Mondon, the linebacker, really good. Probably going to be a first or second round pick. But outside of that, in the front 7, they don't have many game wreckers. You look in the secondary, Javon Bullard and Malachi Starks, like those guys are probably going to be first round picks someday. But they just don't have the depth defensively and the star power defensively.
Sometimes it catches up to you, man.
And
Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, just keep getting. And even in the linebacking core, you've had Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean. It's just a lot of turnover.
Yeah. What was that? They had another first round defensive lineman too. What was his name?
Oh, Trayvon Walker.
No, he went to him, and then the one that went to Devontae Wyatt. Was that his
Devontae
name?
Wyatt?
Yeah,
I forget. See,
Packers.
it's just a lot of guys in the last 2 years.
Yeah, and they just don't have that. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to buy into the Carson Beck stuff. I don't think he's very good either. I don't say same thing with the it factor stuff. I don't think he has it. Like, I just don't think he's that good. They don't have any elite running backs. They have some solid guys.
I'm at an incomplete grade on Carson Beck.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not ready
because he doesn't just like turn the ball over crazy, and you just
Right.
need to stay on pace when you're playing as a Georgia
And
offense.
I'm not ready to say he's cooked or anything like that, or that he just doesn't have it. But I don't see him being the guy. I won't be surprised at some point this year if that offense falters, if they go to Brock Vandagriff.
Yeah, but I think
his receiver talent helps him out a lot. When you got Brock Bowers, when you got
Rosemy Jack Saint.
Rosemy Jack Saint, then you've got 2 transfers, Dominic Lovett, Ra Thomas. Like, they've got a lot of very talented receivers.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to prop him up a little bit. And then an offensive line with Amarius Mims and Cedric Van Pran, which I know Amarius Mims got
probably
hurt.
should have come out last year.
Yeah,
but he'll still be a top 2.
Amarius Mims is like
second
projected
round pick.
top 10 pick. He got injured on Saturday.
But In the second half, they started to impose their will a little bit running the ball.
They did.
Dejon Edwards
They
was
took
good.
over.
It was good to have him back. 20 carries for like 118 and a TD.
Yeah.
So they started to run the ball, and that's what they need to do. I mean, just play good defense and run the ball. That's what's won them 2 national championships in a row.
100%.
And now, granted, Stetson Bennett in some of those big games last year stepped up. I don't know if Carson Beck is that type of guy yet.
They don't.
We'll see. It's
beat,
incomplete.
They don't beat Ohio State without Stetson Bennett last year.
Yeah.
Kenny, what's next?
Let's go to the NFL. Here we go. There's a lot of teams. It's second weekend. A lot of surprises, I think, in terms of scores, in terms of records. Right now, you have a bunch of teams that are 2-0 and a bunch of teams that are 0-2. And so I wanted to ask you guys about some of these 0-2 teams and who you think is a for real 0-2, or who do you think is going to get it right throughout the rest of the season?
The most for real 0-2 teams, one, the Cardinals, but the other one, the worst team in football through 2 weeks, is the Bears. And I'm scared for Justin Fields. I'm so scared for him.
I agree.
I'm terrified because he's not hitting guys when they're open. He's trying to read half the field like he did in college. And they're trying to, it's weird. They've tried to like take away his legs, like what he really did well last year. And I don't really get that. They're trying to prove that he's a franchise
pocket
guy,
passer,
but don't do that.
Don't.
Like,
Let him be him.
use his best ability still.
Right.
Like we see the Ravens, they're throwing a ball a lot more, but they're still
running
using Lamar's legs, and they're not doing that with Justin Fields. I'm scared for him, though. I think I'm going to give him about till halfway through the season, and then I'll really know where he's at.
Yeah.
Some of these 0-2 teams, the Vikings, the Bengals, the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Patriots. You mentioned the Bears already, but Broncos, Patriots, Vikings, Bengals, and Chargers. Which one of those teams, I mean, all those teams have been successful over the last few years in terms of even postseason play, that kind of stuff, but they're sitting at 0-2.
Broncos might be a legit 0-2.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think they're very good. I think Minnesota is going to be a 8 or 9 win team.
Texans are a feisty 0-2, just sort of like the Cardinals.
But the Vikings, I think.
And I like C.J. Stroud. He's looked good through 2 weeks.
Yeah, 384-2 on Sunday. I think the Vikings are going to be an 8 or 9 win team. They should have been last year. They just had the ball bounced the right way for them a lot in those 1-score games. So I don't think they're that good. They're not good defensively. Offensively, they added Dalton Risner on Monday today, which I think is going to help them run the ball, but they haven't been able to get any run game going with Alexander Madison. It's really just Justin Jefferson, T.J.
Do they
Hawkinson,
miss Dalvin
Jordan
Cook,
Addison.
or is it that O-line just not playing well?
I just think I think it's the offensive line. I don't think Alexander Madison's necessarily a very dynamic running back. I think he just is kind of a plotter.
Although when he got in there, when Dalvin Cook was out over the years, he played pretty well.
Yeah, you're right. Bengals, I think, are going to be fine. They started 0-2 last year. It's going to depend on the health of Joe Burrow, of course.
He re-aggravated that calf.
Right.
Problem, though, they lost 2 division games back-to-back to start the year, and now you have to try to, Joe Burrow re-aggravated calf. Jake Browning's his backup. He's never completed an NFL pass. They're in a weird spot, man. They're in a very weird spot. And Jamar Chase has kind of been he's been MIA 2 weeks in a row. T. Higgins stepped up as at least this week as their number 1 receiver.
Right.
But 0-2, calf issue with Joe Burrow. I would bet right now they'll be okay. But if they falter a couple more weeks in a row, I might be completely out on the Bengals because you have Rams
this week.
Then at Titans in 2 weeks. Those are losable games for that team, especially if Joe Burrow.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know. It's a weird time. Talking about 2-0 teams though, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield's looked really good.
Yeah,
he looked good.
Bears
second week.
Bears secondary is horrible.
Yeah,
horrible.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and you saw Jordan Love. Jordan Love's 6 TDs and no interceptions through 2 weeks.
Yeah,
pretty good 1-1. But
speaking of 2-0, Falcons, what do you think about them?
Could
they be for real?
I said this going into the year that they're going to be better than you think because they bring in Jesse Bates.
Terrible schedule.
But John is a dude. They have a terrible schedule. Arthur Smith, I think, can coach.
Yeah.
Desmond Ridder does not impress me in any way, shape, or form. But all he has to do is sort of use his weapons. I think Drake London's still solid. They can't get Kyle Pitts involved, which is annoying in itself. But Bajan's a dude, man.
Yeah.
Bajan is offensive rookie of the year if he stays healthy.
Yeah.
Let's power rank these 2-0 teams real quick.
Real quick, though, I do want to bring Ravens one more time. Ravens, 2-0. Won over the Bengals and handle business week 1.
Yeah.
And they're using Lamar's arm more. I know you're not the biggest Lamar fan. I know you're not.
He's looked fine. He didn't look good in week 1. He looked fine this week.
But, man, that throw to Nelson Aguilar on the TD, the throw downfield to Zay Flowers. I'm tired of people questioning his arm and what he can do. Can he be a little erratic and not read defenses all the way through sometimes? Sure. But when he finds his guy in one-on-one coverage, that ball will be placed pretty damn well usually.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah. So
Kenny wants us to power rank these. I'm not gonna do the Ravens stuff right now.
I still think they can run the ball pretty well.
I'll get too heated over the Ravens stuff. John Harbaugh's a great coach. I'll give you that.
Okay. Their defense isn't that good though this year.
No, it's not. It's not. That's what I'm saying. He's a good coach. They've got injuries all over the place, and they're still playing well.
Yeah. Linderbaum and Stanley already out on the O-line. It's tough. So if we're power ranking,
let's do power rankings. You got Miami 2-0, Miami 2-0, Baltimore, Dallas, Philly, Washington, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, San Francisco.
It's a lot of teams.
You got some studs, man.
I'll do a top five. I'll do a top 3 or top 5. Top 3? All right.
San Francisco's
San Francisco, Cowboys, and then I'll go to the AFC. And quite frankly, just based on what I've seen for 2 weeks, I'm going to go Dolphins at number 3. I just don't think their defense is that good. They're timely. They're not great.
The only thing I would possibly put the Eagles in there.
I think the Cowboys have looked better than the Eagles through 2 weeks.
They have. And the Dolphins, I love Tua. I've talked about this last week. I love Tua. Like he is tailor-made for Mike McDaniel.
One of the biggest things though last night I'm watching, and obviously we're recording on a Monday, Sunday Night Football, Pats versus Dolphins. To see them, even in a night where they couldn't spread the ball around like they did week 1 against the Chargers, Raheem Mostert ends the game, basically. 20 carries, 118 yards, TD, or 2 TDs.
Yep, 2.
2 TDs. And they're running the ball on the road against Bill Belichick's Patriots in Gillette Stadium. Like, that is the missing piece offensively for them. If they can continue to get that type of production out of Raheem Mostert in that backfield, I feel really confident about what they can accomplish. And I don't know if you should have doubts about it because Mike McDaniel was sort of the guy that Kyle Shanahan put in charge of his run game with San Fran over the years. Yeah. So, I think he knows what to do and knows how to scheme that stuff.
Yeah, agreed.
Are you guys out on Mac Jones the way Patriots fans are, it looks like?
I'm kind of indifferent on Mac Jones.
Kendrick Bourne's your best receiver. So, yeah. Hunter Henry, I guess, and Mike Gesicki. They have more weapons than they've had, but the Patriots offense is just vanilla and boring. Yeah. So I don't know how to fully be out on Mac Jones. I was never in to Mac Jones.
I wasn't either.
He's just not that. He's not that talented. Like he has to win with his brain, and in the NFL, that's hard to do consistently.
All right, Kenny, last topic.
All right, topic number 3, the number 2 NFL team in both of y'all's power rankings, 2-0 teams.
Oh, God.
It's the Dallas Cowboys.
Why is the Dallas upside down on your hat?
Style.
It's
always the question.
I'm in on the Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys,
I picked them to be my representative out of the NFC, so I've always been in.
I don't agree with that. The running joke in my life has been that the Cowboys won't win a Super Bowl until I'm perished. So I won't be picking that because I enjoy life and don't want to die. But yeah, okay. Here's my honest opinion. It's been really good so far, but they have played nobody. The Jets and the Giants both stink. Like if Aaron Rodgers,
it's been domination.
It has been dominant, but
giving up 10 points in 2 games.
I get this.
I don't think the Giants' defense is terrible. I don't think the Jets defense certainly isn't terrible, and I think that they played a good game against that Jets defense. Like Dak looked good. If it weren't for just some deep ball that Zach Wilson threw to Garrett Wilson, and he broke it off for 60 some odd yards. Yeah. Like you hold them to 3. Like I like this Cowboys team. I think they have everything they need to be that team this year. Yeah, and I think they did last year, but that's a different story as well.
I will feel better when they start playing good teams because that's going to tell. Last year we boat raced the Vikings, and everybody was ready to crown us the best team in the NFL. And I think it was 2 or 3 back-to-back where we just dogged teams last year. And it was they're for real.
So until Sunday Night Football Week 5 against the 49ers,
San Francisco,
then if they compete or win,
it'll be a visual thing. Just how does it look?
Okay.
Do they get ran all over, or
that's the scary part about
to me defense. That's what it is. So Micah Parsons incredible. I'm a big fan of the Mike McCarthy offense so far. I think it's very I think we're going back to Dak friendly.
And he's starting to run the ball.
He ran the ball on the 36, got out of the pocket.
No, but I'm talking about Mike McCarthy. The big issue at the end with the Packers and his play calling is he never got Aaron Jones involved, and he just wanted to give the ball to Aaron Rodgers and go cook, which I don't fully blame him for that, but that's why they were 6-10 or 6-9-1, and he got fired. 25 carries, even though it wasn't like Tony was cooking. But he still gave him the ball and said, let's go. We have to pace this offense.
Yeah, I love the way the offense has looked so far. I love all the movement and the play actions. I think it goes back to what Dallas ran in the beginning of Dak's career when it was so effective. It allows him – he's been like a top 5 play action quarterback in the league his entire career. Very good off play action. Needs the run. He needs the run to set up his passing game. I think he was 31 of 38 for 255.
Completed his first 13.
Yeah. So I like what I'm seeing so far. I'm not discouraged, obviously. I think the defense is really, really good. I think the offense has pieces. I like the play calling. So I'm happy about it, but we'll see when good teams start rolling in.
But beyond, like, they're not just like a timely defense, but they do turn the ball over. I mean, they had, 4 turnovers in game 1 and 3 turnovers in game 2. Like, that's cool to see.
10 sacks,
they can get after
turnovers.
the quarterback. They have a good secondary. Linebacking core is still solid. You're just worried about those 2 interior guys.
Yep.
And holding up in the run game when somebody brings power right down your throat.
Right.
But I think they are both a stop-you defense and they can create turnovers and be timely. So that's a good sign. Good sign.
All right. Well, boys, let's call it a week. Let's wrap it up.
Call it a week.
We appreciate you guys for joining us. We will I guess we'll see you back here next week. I don't guess we have anything else really to plug. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast. Come out to Let It Fly every Tuesday for the rest of the football season, 7 o'clock. Tomorrow, who do we got? Kenny, Diego Brumfield, Rock Taylor.
We got
star-studded lineup.
Hank Pearson,
walk-on, who we honestly didn't know who he was, but has played.
I definitely knew who he was. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I didn't know who he was. My bad.
Speak for yourself.
But he has played extremely well this year so far.
Who's the fourth?
The fourth is you said Diego.
It's Diego,
Rock, Hank,
and Davion Carter.
Yeah, yes,
that's it.
Offensive lineman.
Right guard. That's a good position to play.
There you go. So come out Tuesday night. Let It Fly. Check that out, and we will see you back here next week.
Thank you for listening to On the Bluff. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports and how you can become an insider.